Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a minute late. I have a I have an issue with my dog. One of my dogs, Vaughn, the really barky one.
Dog's Vaughn.
Oh,
The really barky one. Dog's Vaughn.
Sorry. Clearly, I'm a little scatterbrained this morning. I needed to turn that off. Anyway, I just got an email from the vet. They were telling me I would have to wait a week for an appointment. I just managed to squeeze one in right before I started Playdate here. So thanks for bearing with me. Let's see who's here today. So we have Oak Mama here. Yay, you made it this week. That's awesome. Hi, Patrice. We are guessing on the cards for the week. Tamitha, hello. Are you new, Tamitha? Or maybe I'm just having a very bad memory, which is very likely right now. Myrna's here. Hello. Let's see. Who else is here? Suzanne. I feel like I have a lot of new names in here. Is it just me? Or are you just speaking up more today? Hi, Elle, my darling daughter. Kristen's here. Hello. Let's see who else we have. Sandra's here. Hello, my friend. Elizabeth. Crohn's Intuition. White Tree Tarot. Yeah, the people who binge and caught up on Playdate. Yeah, applause. Good job. It's been really fun to see some of the old stuff coming in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group and seeing people comment on some of that older stuff. And because it's like, it's never over, right? Hi, Shane, hoping for a major, but yes, the tarot always gives us what we need and not what we want. And let's see, who else do I have here? Hopefully I don't skip any more. Grush is here, hello. And major, please. Jonathan's here, hello. Okay, Essence is here. Oh my gosh, my chat jumped. Okay, I totally missed like a whole crud ton of people. All right, so there was Grasha. Aslag, hello. Queen Ria's here, hi. Emily. And Jonathan, Maharet, Mendy's here, Jackie's here, Susie, Ira Marie, am I saying that right? Or is it Ira? Wiccan222, Sue, Chris Kelly, looking forward to this all day. Oh, that's sweet. Hopefully we can live up to that. Sean, hi, Sean. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Jilly's here. I just saw Jilly come in. Okay. Tom says, I always make it to the party late, so I'm glad to make it on time. You know, this party, it's constantly going. In fact, it goes all week long. So I admit I'm in a bit of a funny mood at the moment. So hopefully that does not project itself into the tarot deck, but we'll do the best we can. Did anybody have any particular noteworthy experiences with the Five of Swords this week? For me, I think it's like today. Like today I'm feeling like I'm one of those beat down characters right now, and I can't quite figure out why. So again, Tarot Playdate is not about me, so cards, this doesn't have to be about me. This is about the collective. But I'll be interested to see if I can figure this out by the end of the day. Hi, Kimberly. I don't know if I missed. Jamie Kelly is here. I don't know if I said hi to you. If I missed you, wave at me and say hello. I didn't get this in any of my draws this week, I don't think. Hi, Anne. Nice to see you. Hi, Kathy. I'm just kind of stalling and making, nope, my incense did burn out. See, that's part of the problem here. Okay, hold on. We got to get the incense going again. Come on, little guy. I need all the feel-good smells and vibes and stuff that I can get today. So we need that to just, is it burning? Yeah, burn, baby. Burn, burn, burn. All right. So before we select our card for the week, once again, you know, I always like to gather a list of 5 questions from all of you. I'm checking the chat just to make sure I didn't miss anybody saying anything. But if you can bring for me a question that you might want to ask our card of the week this week, put it in all caps for me so I don't miss it. And then later when we do our random deck draws, we'll use our card of the week from those particular decks to answer our questions, just in case anybody here is new. And Elle is Miss Johnny on the spot here. Thank you, Elle, with what do we need to nurture and cultivate for this week? I love it. What do we need to nurture and cultivate for this week? Okay. Thank you, Patrice. I'm all moany and whiny, but I probably, you guys always get me in a much better mood. So this is why I'll be good. I'll be good in a minute. All right. Even though Shane didn't put it in all caps, I happened to see it because he put exclamation marks, and I know he's like typing, text to typing a lot right now. Shane, what healing mentally, spiritually, and physically can we focus on this week? Mentally, spiritually, and physically. Good questions right out of the gate. Can we focus on this week? Okay. Jen Signs to Soul made it. CCAT, hello. Okay. Ooh, chat jumpy. Am I missing? Yes, I am missing questions because Jen brought a question. How do we raise our energy vibration this week? Okay, and Mendy, you and Jen are on the same wavelength. Clearly, your energy vibrations are in sync. So we're going to just put Jen and Mendy. How do we raise our energy vibrations this week? Were you guys chatting with that before? About that before? How do we raise our energy vibrations this week? I tried not using a fountain pen this week to see if I could write faster. I'm not sure it's working, but we'll see how this goes. All right, I need two more. Okay, I've got Emily with what limiting beliefs do we need to release this week? Ooh, I love that. I love all these questions this week. This is going to be a good card today. I can feel it. And by good, I mean, a good meaty card. What limiting beliefs do we need to release this week? And question number 5. What do we need to just let go? From Aquarius Owl. Okay. Hopefully I got them in order. If you had a question and I didn't ask it, bring it back next week because we're always looking for them. What do we need to just let go? Okay. Thank you for supporting the blasting. I'll take the love blast. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Hi, Anj. Nice to see you. Okay, Billy, that's a great question too. Can you bring that back for us next week? Because I feel like we're still gonna need it. All right, let's see. So Mendy watched Jen Science to Soul's reading the other night, so that's how they got on the same wavelength. Okay, CCAT, bring that question back to me next week. I'm still fueling myself with coffee as I usually am because I don't know why. I give myself like 2.5 hours to kind of get myself ready for play date on Sundays, and yet still somehow I find myself just sitting down with my coffee right around this time. All right, so from Elle, we have what do we need to nurture and cultivate for this week? From Shane, what healing mentally, spiritually, and physically can we focus on this week? From Jen and Mendy, how do we raise our energy vibrations this week? Ooh, I need some raising of the energy vibes right now. Let's see, Emily, what limiting beliefs do we need to release this week? Which is also kind of similar, so I like this because this will then feed into Aquarius Owls. What do we need to just let go? All right. Oh, yes. Happy Pride. I know because of things in the world that the celebrations that we would normally have aren't happening, but much, much love to everyone. Love is love, right? So, yes, I love seeing all the rainbows. Keep them going in there while I pull this card. That is awesome. Okay. Oh, that was not a good shuffle. No dropsy, but not a good shuffle. Okay, here we go. Our card for the week, we'll see it together, is, ooh, the King of Wands. It's been a while since we had a court card, hasn't it? I feel like maybe it's been a minute. All right, first impressions, initial thoughts. I feel like the King of Wands is perfect for pride. Don't ask me why. I just do. I just feel like it makes sense. Did you call this one, Oak Mama? No, wait, I'm not saying that right. Am I saying that right? I am saying that right. I think I tried to do it wrong last time. Powerful. At least it's not a sword. You know, it's going to get harder and harder for us to pull swords because we've pulled most of them already. Let's see. Wands. He's not looking at us. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. What do you mean by that, Emily? Ooh, Elizabeth's stalker card this week. One of my favorite cards because of reasons, says Queen Rhea. Is it the king to go with your queen? Or for other reasons? You don't have to tell us. That can be personal. It's totally fine. I love all the happy prides in here. This is awesome. A natural born leader, says Maharet. He's a bit of a peacock, fancies himself, says Silky. He's very powerful, confident, and self-assured, says Emily. Yeah, that's true, right? He's like, I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. Did I have a good King of Wands swagger going on there as I try to imitate the card, which is never a good idea. Natasha, hi Natasha, charming, courageous leader. Says he is looking at the past, perhaps with everything that has been happening. Ooh, Oak Mama, he knows we're on his side. We are not a threat. The biggest actor of them all, says White Tree Tarot. Ooh, we have lots of thoughts on this king today, don't we? Happy Pride. Let's see. Definitely a card that is seated in his power and very comfortable there, says Jamie. Yes. Is that a lizard on the ground? So I believe it's probably a salamander, because aren't salamanders a thing with the King of Wands? Charming and passionate, says Gracia. Jonathan says, all the kings represent success and mastery. The King of Wands has gained his success through his sheer confidence, willpower, and influence over others. Yeah, there's one on the throne as well, right? Where is it on the throne? I know it's there. Oh, you mean right there in the middle? That one right there? We'll talk more. We'll dive more into symbols and get, focus, the up-close look here shortly. There we go. My light's a little funny today, too, because it's cloudy on a summer day. Yep, it's a salamander, fire elemental. Mendy notes that he's sitting but not reclining, ready for action at any moment. Yes, and salamanders on his cloak. Yeah, I do remember seeing, like, when I see clones or other decks that are featured or based on the Rider-Waite-Smith character, a lot of times the salamanders will make an entrance in the King of Wands for sure. Elizabeth says, accept responsibility even if you would rather be on your own. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, recognizing that he's a leader, even though maybe he just wants to sit there by himself. Maybe that's my mood. I'm like, I just want to sit by myself, but I also want to hang out with all of you guys. Not that I think I'm a leader. That's not what I'm saying. Ella says, his position, a combo of relaxation and concentration. Turning body, inner sentiments, left hand fist is indicative of his alert, readiness, and restlessness. Yeah, the restlessness, right? The readiness and the restlessness. I get that. Lots of warm tones in his robes also, says Emily. Jackie says, it depicts strength. Yes. Jonathan, he is vocal and blunt with what he wants and gets people to do what he wishes. He does not need to use force. He is charismatic, confident, and persuasive. Right? And a little bit more charming than, say, maybe like the King of Swords, right? Else is the salamander, an animal that can pass through fire without injury. We too need not be afraid of trial by fire. We need such tests in order to find out what we really want. Kristen says, fiery ambition. Yes, to me, the King and the Queen of Wands both. The Queen of Wands, I was participating in Tarot Palooza yesterday, which was a virtual tarot conference kind of thing. I don't know how you call it. And there were workshops that went on all day, and Rachel Pollack spoke, but I did a couple of readings, and the King of Wands or the Queen of Wands came up for me a couple of times. So it's interesting to me that King of Wands came up today. Naomi says he wears his armor underneath and is ready for action if needed. Hi, Naomi. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Essence says salamanders represent spirits living in the element fire and denote that the king is able to handle fire. He can control fire of the self and nature. It was really good. Oh, Mama, thank you. It's still going on a little bit today, but I didn't want to skip play date. So I'm going to watch a couple of the sessions back afterward. Emily says his position is also really similar to the queen and indicative of sexuality. They're very passionate and sexual people, fiery people, and the ones in general, right? A lot about energy and passion and sex. All of that stuff comes in with the wands. I mean, it's the wands, right? Wicked. He has wisdom, very high standards that he applies to himself and those around him. Jonathan says the personality of the King of Wands is expressed by his fire of fire nature, which gives him strong fire qualities. He is energetic, full of spirit, life force, and power. Natasha sets an example, a powerful, inspirational authority figure. Yeah, this is the kind of king like I feel like I can look up to. You know, not like my. Never mind. We won't do that today. I'll try not to do that today. Anyway. I was going to delve into the political, but that's just, let's keep it happy with the wands here. Chris Kelly, he harnesses and controls the fire. His air element can feed fire and inspire confidence in those who need it, but can also dull it and bring us down a peg or two if we need it. Ooh, interesting. Jackie says charismatic, focused, determined, supportive. Gracia, the Ouroboros, the salamander eating its tail right here, represents infinity and pressing forward against any obstacle. So since you guys are talking a lot about these symbols, I'm going to go ahead and I'll do the thing where I pull it up really close, and I'll keep reading some of these comments here in a second. All right, focus. There he is. So there's that salamander. And we see like the lion, right? And now there's two more salamanders at the top there, like right there. And then another lion climbing his cloak, it looks like. He's got his wand. And then Elle was talking earlier about that clenched fist. Little salamander at the bottom. Now, there's no water in this card, right? The ground here is very brown and barren. But, his little pedestal here isn't that tall either. And I don't know that I've ever really noticed that before. He's raised just a little bit off the ground here. It's not like he's way high above. And I don't know if that speaks to anything, but it's something I'm noticing today for some reason. Let me keep reading your comments here. So Elle said the salamander on his throne closed circle underlines the motive of rebirth, typically associated with the salamander. It's also a warning against circular arguments and repetition, or turning in a circle, chasing your tail, so to speak, right? Wiccan, his element is air of fire that breathes. The more air the fire can burn, the higher and brighter the flames. Jonathan, he is also confident of his identity and purpose in life. This fire of fire nature makes the King of Wands a natural leader of people, companions, or nations. So we have a couple of people, we have some people looking at him as air of fire and others looking at fire of fire. And I know there are a couple of schools of thoughts on what elements are represented by each of the court cards. And it looks like we have some here who look at the kings as being representative of air and others being representative of fire. So those seem to be the comments we're getting here of air of fire versus fire of fire. And I don't know where the two different schools of thought come from, but I feel like I've heard this before. So if anybody wants to elaborate on that for the group, feel free. Let's see. I read that one. Elizabeth says, accepting responsibility or a position of authority while secretly yearning for freedom. So maybe that is he gazing off going, oh, I remember the days when I could just run out and do what I wanted. It didn't have everybody watching me or looking up to me or judging me for the choices that I make. I know people who might be feeling that way right about now. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Essence, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. Let's see. Jackie, salamanders with their tails in their mouths. Yep, noticing that there on the throne. Jilly says, expressive, gregarious, determined. He'll definitely tell you what he thinks. Yes, he will. Oh, the black lion on the throne. The will, vital strength, and energetic high spirits. Its black color, danger of suppression, once burned, twice shy. Oh, interesting. Wiccan says lions are a symbol of strength and protection, linking with one of his zodiac signs. It's funny, earlier today I was chatting with Shane and Elle, and they were trying to predict what card we would get. And Shane said strength, and I'm like, oh, I could really use strength today. So I'm glad at least to see some little lions popping up. I feel like that's still giving me a little bit of what what I was hoping to see today in our card. Chris Kelly says the wand is rested on the ground, not on his platform. Wonder if that means something. So it's all the way down here, right? Like not up there. So maybe that's potentially some of the grounding that he needs to do. It's kind of like planting that wand for grounding. That's I'm very eloquent today. It's a good thing y'all are here. It's a good thing y'all are here to help me out. So let's see. Ooh, Gracia said his wand is blossoming. This represents creativity and life, right? The sprouts, the new opportunities that we'll find in the wands. Anne says, if ill-dignified can represent cruelty, brutality, and too much force too quickly expended. So does that maybe mean like when we get into reversals, is that something we're likely to see there, Anne? Susie says, I'm always confused with that. Which part? Which part, Susie? Essence, the lion on his throne indicates that the fixed powers of the divine law are behind him, and he's aware they are his to use. Ooh, interesting. And then, oh, so Linda says it's fire of fire per Rachel Pollack. I tend to follow, I think, a lot of her line of thinking as well. I always think of, actually, do I? I think sometimes I feel like the knights are really fiery. But then again, if you look at the Knight of Pentacles, he's definitely not. So maybe, I don't even know what I think about all that. Thank you, Linda, though, for sharing that. Oh, the throne extended to the sky, the task and also the capacity to bring divine and earth together, theory and practice, wish and reality. And we see that in some of the other court cards too. Like we did get the King of Swords, and his, you know, he's sitting facing us, but his throne is doing the same thing. And I remember Simon mentioning that. So I think Elle is doing us a favor, since Simon isn't here today, and bringing in the Rider-Waite, the Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Smith, which dives into all the different symbols in the cards. Oh, look, I just happened to open it to the Five of Swords. That was last week's card, which is a really great little resource. And I like to look at this after play date too to see if anything kind of jumps out at me on that front. Thank you, Elle, for doing that. I really appreciate it. Sea Cat, it's all the King's air energy and the Fire Wands energy. Oh, okay. Wait, don't jump, chat. Oh no, it went far away. Okay, and then we had Chris Kelly, wand still keeps him grounded, kind of responding to that note about the wand being there, planted on the ground rather than on his little pedestal here. Let's see, kind of like the Queen of Swords, where the sword shields her heart. Julia was responding to Elle on that one. The power of fixed fire, he embodies the spirit and passion of Leo, says Wiccan 222. And Jen says, I need this King's fiery passion and fuck the world attitude today. Yeah, maybe I need to embrace this, like really today. Jonathan, the salamander also represents a person who can retain composure during adversity. The King of Wands thus is a man who, even under pressure, can keep calm. In fact, he may indeed live off that pressure. Somebody who just performs better under pressure than when they don't have it. Interesting. I like that. Oh no, there it goes again. Okay, talking about warm weather. Jen says, I see knights as fire and kings as air. See, I think that's what I was thinking too. But then sounds like Rachel has it reversed maybe. Does she see the knights as air if she then sees the kings as fire, or is the air redistributed somewhere else and we've just mixed the whole thing up? Let's see. King of Wands can be egotistical and egocentric. He won't hesitate to employ a scorched earth policy if he needs to make a point, says Wiccan. So could it be, possible he's like, of course I'm right. Like, does the arrogance come with this king, right? Oh, orange robe and hair. So noting here the color of the clothes. From top to bottom, attuned to fire, will, passion, libido, lust, raring to go, but with clear mind. Yellow sun. Oh, so like with the color yellow. Or with envy or mania, being blinded by the sun. Oh yeah, got to watch out for that. Mendy says, it depends on who you read. Some people see kings as air, some as fire, some as earth. I think what matters is that you pick an element and stick with it when working with your courts. That is very good advice. I need to decide which one I think speaks most to me. I'll just put a link to that book that I was talking about there that she's reading from for us today. Wiccan says, he is the ruler of fire, a combustible mix of the element of fire with the airy intellectualism of the kings. You know, people say they struggle with the courts. You know, y'all don't seem to be struggling. You are bringing some really good stuff today. Yeah, so Jen sees the Knights as full of passion and energy. I do think I think that's kind of where my head's been at too. Rachel Pollack wrote that the King of Wands is not seated upright rather than leaning back on his throat. He perhaps would like to leave to seek adventure, new experience, envious of the Knight of Wands. So does it look like he's kind of like got a little bit of that forward lean, right? It's like, oh, I just want to get off this throne, you know? Queen Rhea says the fire, air, confusion came from the Golden Dawn and the way they mapped the court cards to the Tree of Life. Aha. See, Rachel Pollack in the session that she did yesterday at Tarotpalooza, she was talking a lot about how the Tree of Life is represented in so many of the cards, and she was really diving into a lot of the hidden, potentially hidden things that are in the Rider-Waite images and the references to the Golden Dawn, to the Queen of, or to the Tree of Life, and to other things as well. It was really, really interesting. Elle says the green shoes and shoulder garment, feet show the real steps we take. Oh, the green feet, there we go. Show the real steps we take. The shoulders symbolize our responsibility. Green stands for fruitfulness, growth, naturalness, but also from immaturity. Interesting. So even as the king, there can be a bit of immaturity, right? This card is the astrological Leo, says Elizabeth, so bringing in that astrological association, which makes complete sense to me that that would be the case. All right, did I make it to the bottom of the chat? Benabel Wen sees the King of Wands as fire of fire. So that's the same as Rachel then, right? As Rachel Pollack. Interesting. We all have different schools of thoughts on these. But then some people completely switch the swords and the wands, right? With air and fire, which breaks my brain. But I know it makes sense to a lot of people. I know that Simon the other day was interviewing Giselle Madwich on his channel in his, just yesterday, in Cup of Ketchup and Cards. Great interview, by the way. And she was saying, like, originally when she first started, she saw the wands as air and the swords as fire. And then when she started getting more decks and all that, you know, she recognized that the majority had them switched. She didn't realize there were actually decks and others out there that have them switched. So a lot of times, like, where you start, sometimes you want to just trust your gut and go with what works for you. Don't have to roll with the pack, you know? So Elle is saying the crown of flames, fired with zeal, great strength of will, on fire for cause, overheated idealism, overactive intellect. We can achieve great things. A great fire calls for a great goal, a noble one. Yes. Yeah, wasn't it a great interview? Sorry, I know I had to jump off for the last half hour, but I was really enjoying it. So I'm going to pull out now, because you guys have done a really great job with this card. I'm going to pull out my first of my 5 alternative decks. I pre-selected the order so that I wouldn't know which question they would go with. And the first one I have today, because I recently, some of these feel like we did them recently, but it's because I recently got to the end of my collection and have refreshed my list. So now it's all random again. So we're going to start off with the beautiful Victorian Romantic Tarot today and see what our Queen of Wands, or no, King of Wands. See, I really want to work with that queen right now. So let me find this one here. And let me see hear what you think about this one. Okay, so, and just for anybody who hasn't seen this deck, this is by Baba Studios, a gorgeous deck. I'll go ahead and pull it up close. I know it is out of print. I'm sorry. This is the 3rd edition, so it has the cold foil stamping. Come on, there we go. So this one, to me, it's like he's less elevated and more like with the people, right? Jonathan grabbed Ethany's Your Tarot card. Yeah, she has a really interesting way of approaching the court cards. And Elle's like, it's all right. Oak Mama says the background practically desert, so that one sprouting is from the power of this king's personality. Are you back talking about our original? I'm assuming here. Yeah, Elle's very picky with her decks. Yeah, he seems earthy here. He almost has a bit of the King of Pentacles vibe to me a little bit. But I can still see, like, we're surrounded by music and artists, right? So we're bringing in that artistic and creative element into this card, I think. Oh, Jen forgot to look up at the card. Well, what were you doing? Where are you looking? Yeah, but the wand and the musicians, exactly. Lots of people. You know you've made it when you have a court jester, right? It looks like he is listening intently. Now he's still looking off the same direction that we have with this particular king, right? So he's still looking off that away. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, he's not holding on to his wand. He seems very comfortable, a bit more engaged. White Tree Tarot says, if I remember correctly, the guidebook said that this king had to give up his own artistic ambitions to support others, which would make sense because it almost looks like he has a wistful expression on his face, right? He is not with them. He is elsewhere, says Anj. It looks like, so his mind is elsewhere. He's not focusing on what they're doing. Sean says he looks content. He is more like the others, not so much king-like, says Elizabeth. More supportive, says Jackie. The wee guy in green behind him is belting out a power ballad. Wee guy behind him? Oh, you mean this guy? Or I don't think there's any other green unless I'm totally missing it. He looks deep in thought, says Wendy. The music looks wasted, says Naomi. Oh, see, that's really interesting. See, I see him more as being like lost in the music, not away from the music. So it's interesting that we kind of get different vibes when we look at that card. Jen says, I feel like the man playing music is the focal point of this card and not the king. It really does draw your eye, doesn't it? But he looks like the heart and soul of the party, but not in an immature way. He seems very grounded, though. Elle says, ooh, interesting. The knife and the pearl necklace. It reminds me of being noble, taking responsibility. Pearls are pretty and luxurious and all, but they are also incredibly overfarmed and unethical, which back in these days, in the Victorian era, was probably not on anybody's brain, right? Oak Mama, that musician's giving the king an epic side eye, right? So hear more if you want to take a look at some of these expressions. Let's see, there we go. Yeah, he does seem to be, doesn't he? That's really funny. And the people in the back. But he seems to be just a bit less aloof and a bit less arrogant than this particular king, from what I can tell. Kathy says he is older and wiser, perhaps missing what he had to give up as a youth. Interesting. Oh, I missed Naomi's comment. That musician looks wasted. He might be. You know, they did a lot of drinking back then. Oh, wait. They do a lot of drinking now. What am I saying? Wendy had said he looks deep in thought. I think I missed a couple of comments there. He feels authentic, says Elizabeth. So does he feel like more accessible? Because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Although I don't find this king to be inaccessible, right? But this one feels like you can just walk right up to him and start having a conversation. Where here I still feel like I'm walking up and kneeling or curtsying or something before I start to talk to him. Emily says, I feel like he very much does as he wants when he wants. So he rests when he wants to, and he parties when he wants to. So yeah, he pretty much just kind of does whatever the heck he wants because, well, he's king. He can. Chris Kelly, he looks like he wants to join in which is consistent with the sitting forward stance in the RWS. That's a really great point, right? We were talking about that wanting to get engaged and wanting to be able to act. Emily says, I feel like any conversation would still be on his terms. Probably true. Elle says his red boots. He leads with passion, lust, and fire. Whereas the original, he had green shoes, leading with responsibility. Ooh, very good observation there. I like that. Comparing to the other kings, he looks the most relaxed, a laid-back approach to leadership. Yes. So do you want to, sorry, I didn't mean to get loud there. Shall we ask our first question? So this, our first question was from Elle, who seems to be like really gelling with this card here. What do we need to nurture and cultivate for this week? So how would we answer that with our King of Wands? What do we need to nurture and cultivate this week? Thoughts, anyone? You know, for me, I think maybe I'm seeing, you know, that engagement, right? Maybe being willing to step off the throne, and not that you're necessarily on the throne, but, you know, being willing to step forward and engage with the things that you want to engage with, and maybe letting some of that go. Enjoying the music, perhaps a little creativity needs to be cultivated this week. Social engagement, says Emily. Our desires, said Sean. Be creative and passionate. Enjoy life. Have some fun. Oh, I really like where you guys are going with all this. Neem says, get, you know, in touch with your leadership qualities. Anj says, we need to nurture our creativity. Mendy says, find some enjoyment in the arts. Yes, you can create any outcome you wish, says Jackie. Let out a power ballad, says Natasha. Oh, doesn't that feel good sometimes? Like, especially in the car or the shower, right? Just let it rip. Let's see, I mean, living on a prayer, I can sing that just about any old time. Mendy says, wear red shoes, right? Put your party shoes on. Chris, we need to nurture our sway over the passion within us. Use it to achieve our goals and inspire other people to do the same, right? So taking on a bit of that leadership role there. Jonathan, spiritual maturity, leading through creativity. Use your charisma to be assertive. Sandra, loving the power ballads, right? So embracing the confidence and creativity. So don't, I would say too, like, don't forget about that confidence piece, right? Be secure in what it is that you want to do and the passions that you want to pursue or explore. You know, don't be afraid to go out and go after your dreams. This is our confident king, right? Let's see, passion and courage, says Wiccan, right? Did I just read that one? Yes, I did. I read Jonathan's. Our creativity, says Oak Mama. Elle, are you feeling like this answered your question? Emily, you are the king of your life, so take responsibility for your emotions. And yes, go for your dreams. Willingness to step up to help others, says Oak Mama. Go for it, says Jackie. Elle said, when you said it about stepping off the throne, it literally made me think for Shane, making sure he steps off his throne a bit and keeps moving, right? So our Shane is recovering from surgery this week. So that's what she's referring to there. But not too much. He's got to take it easy, Elle. Essence, sometimes people are actually looking to please you. So be clear about what ignites your fire. Ooh, yes. Jonathan, be goal-oriented and get results. And don't underestimate your power, says Emily, right? And your influence, right? The ability to influence others for better or for worse. We have to not lose sight of that. In spite of the fact that we want to go have fun and do all the things, even with that, in this, you know, this particular king, he has to remember that he still has some level of responsibility and accountability to others in this leadership role, right? All right, I think that was a good one. Are we ready for the next card already? I feel like we kind of flew through this one, but it's kind of a different and interesting image. Oh wait, I want to set that over there so we can take our picture later. Let's see. Actually, oh no. Well, there's the dropsies. It's been a while. I forgot. I keep the cards out. All right, our next one that I've got here. This was recently a replacement deck for one that we decided that was not going to be in Playdate anymore. What was that one? The 78 Doors. Now I have the Deviant Moon. All right, so we've got our Deviant Moon here. Let's take a look. So this should give us some food for thought. I feel fairly confident in saying. All right, we have our queen. There's, whoa, okay. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to keep showing you my back, but all right, so here's our King of Wands. Dropsy! Forever and ever, Essence. So here is our King of Wands. Look at all those hangers on is like the first thing that comes to my mind. Like, bit clingy much? You know? So what do you think about this one? Yeah, that was more than a dropsy too. That was like a throwsy, like threw it across the room kind of thing. And now that's a beard. Is it? Is that what that is? I guess that is. It's more like his face. I don't even think we can call that facial hair. Yeah, seriously clutching as if he is life. Tamatha, right? Or Tamatha, sorry. Emily, yes, I can't decide if he is bothered by them hanging on or if he's encouraging the groupies. Probably some of both, right? Jen says he can either be totally ignorant to distractions or keep focused through them, right? So he's, even though he's got all of this stuff happening, it does look like he's still focused on what it is that he's looking at or what his goals are. Hangers on are that he is just approachable, right? Neem says, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. Jonathan, magnetic, socially lovable, and commands attention from others because of positive reputation. Anj, that could represent his children asking much of him when he is preoccupied with his duties. Chris notes that he has no throne. He isn't chained to his kingdom. Rather, he is out with his kids on an adventure, right? So that could definitely be his family, his kids, or these could be kids running up to him in the street, right? Let's see. Again, he seems pretty earthy and could be pentacles if it wasn't for the one. Yeah, so still having more of that approachable vibe that we have here. And he, you know, he has a pretty content expression on his face, I would say, like really calm and serene in spite of his strange face, right? But yeah, it's like, you know, this one looks like it's treating him like a jungle gym. Or maybe, oh no, just holding onto his hand because there's his little legs. Right, so he's running along beside. He seems to be hugging him from behind. So he seems to be adored for the most part, right? Elle says those little spoon stealers, he's got to make sure people don't take from his vital energy store for the day. Emily notes that it's quite sweet. Anj says he is facing the past. Perhaps he is thinking of what he left behind. Is he part Kaluthu? That's John. Or is that what it is? How you say it? Kaluthu? Is that right? Jackie notes that he looks fatherly. Mindy says, this feels like being home with 3 kids since March. Right? Mom, right? Oak Mama, among the blind, the one-eyed man is king, or maybe he grew to match the role of leadership. White Tree Tarot reminds me of that scene from LOR, where the little, LOR, Lord of the Rings? Where little village kid, yeah, oh yeah, the rest of this would include me in. Where little village kids are asking Gandalf to show his magic. Oh yes, that I can see that. He looks at, doesn't he? He says, I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Oh, the Kaluthu, got it. I'm fascinated by his crown, says Jilly. You want a close-up look there? It is quite fascinating. Wait, I gotta get on his face first before it'll let me. There we go. Right. It is fascinating. Essence says, I see kids jumping and swinging all over Grandpa, and no matter how chaotic it may appear, he has control over all of them while instructing his daughter, relax, they're fine. Right? Wendy says, I thought the 3 figures were trying to stop him from proceeding forward. So you can look at that a lot of different ways. So a lot of people look at this as kind of love and adoration. Other people could see it as, you know, kind of like the first thought I had was sort of clinginess, or we could see it as, yeah, stopping him in his progress as he's trying to move forward. There's a lot of different ways we can look at this. Tamatha, he is the ultimate favorite uncle that everyone wants to play with and have his attention. His crown reminds me of trees reaching up to the stars. Chris says the points of his crown are lining up with the stars. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's the same thing Tamatha just said too, kind of. What does Patrick Valenza say about the card? You know, that's a great question. I don't have a book for this. I have the big book on my wish list, but if anybody has it and wants to share, I know there are probably a few people here who do. You know, I think for me, this kind of like reminds me of somebody who's in a position of leadership, and sometimes that's chosen. I think in this case, you know, the king obviously wanted to be in this position. Well, of course, if you're born into it, then maybe you didn't. But it's like you appreciate the love and the adoration of all of these people, but I imagine it can also be quite exhausting, right? And having to always be that person. I'm sure he loves it. Well, I'm not sure, but he could probably love it. But at the same time, I imagine sometimes that he probably wishes he could just, escape. Like this guy looks like maybe he wants to just go off and enjoy the music, you know? The crescent moon could also represent his fertility surrounded by his children, says Ange. Ooh, I like that. He looks beloved and focused, says Patrice. Wendy says, it looks like a tree beard in The Lord of the Rings where he is on the march. Clearly, I need to watch these movies again. It's been so long since I've seen them. Chris Kelly, I have it here just now. Another thing it says is the book by Patrick Valenza. Another thing it says is he is on an uncharted adventure and he is stamping his staff to mark the way back. Oh, like his trail of breadcrumbs, kind of, so to speak. That's interesting. Yes, he would have to be very controlled with his energy so as to not burn out, Emily says, or as Elle would say, right? He needs to hang on to some of his spoons, can't give them all away. Oak Mama, that crown reminds me of the sprouting wand. I was kind of thinking the same thing, like the growth that's coming out of there. He's got this sort of fiery crystal maybe looking thing on the tip of his wand. So we see the growth in other areas. Plus out of the children's heads, right? At least this one's. The crown reminds me of a series of unfortunate events. Julie asks, what's on his eyelid? His eyelid. I don't even think he hardly has an eyelid. An eyebrow and some really cool winged eyeliner. He does seem to be on a quest or an adventure almost, Emily says. Yeah, exactly, Oak Mama. I was thinking the same thing, like, what eyelid? Hello, Raven Morning Glory. We're talking about the Queen of Wands today. All right, so our question from Shane was, what healing mentally, spiritually, and physically can we focus on this week? Ooh, I feel like this card is ripe with answers to that question. What healing mentally, spiritually, and physically can we focus on this week? So it's funny, I feel like Elle was almost trying to answer the physical part for Shane earlier when she said, it's like, get up and get moving. And it might seem a little bit slow, especially if you've got a lot of things maybe holding on to you, but making sure that you get a little bit of physical exercise and movement forward. Don't just sit there, right? Maybe there's that. Jen says, let the baggage go to heal in all areas. Emily says, make time for yourself. Chris Kelly was talking about the book here. The book also mentioned that his kids are not all of same skin tone, suggesting maybe one is adopted, but the king loves them all equally. Well, all people deserve to be loved equally. And I feel like, good for him if he adopted a child, I say. Jonathan, the King of Wands reminds you to stay optimistic and focused on a goal, right? So healing mentally, spiritually, and physically, it's remembering those things that make us feel passionate. What inspires confidence, what inspires creativity, all of those things, and feeling confident that we can pursue those things. I think a lot of times we talk ourselves out of exploring the things that would be emotionally, spiritually, and even physically healing, and remembering to tap into that confidence. And that one thing about this, with that confidence, with this king in particular, is he's not going to question whether or not he is deserving of that, right? A lot of times we question if we deserve those things. Do I deserve to feel a certain way about something or someone or some path? I know that when I stepped into tarot and kind of pursuing a really different spiritual path than I had before, I thought, I'm too logical for this, or I don't have the psychic awareness or the intuition to be able to do this. And we end up talking ourselves out of a lot of things. So I think being willing to tap into that confidence and that sense of deservedness is something that we can do to help propel ourselves forward and aid in healing. Sorry, soapbox, down now. Okay, Tamitha says, keep focused on your needs for once instead of always focusing on everyone else's needs first. Ooh, I like that. Don't allow obstacles in life to prevent you from healing, says Kathy. Building community, says Oak Mama. Listen to the advice given and incorporate it in your daily life, says Naomi. Julie is looking at his eye, or is that a blinder on over his eye, or is that is his eye? I think it is his eye, Julie. Emily, he knows how to ground and raise his own energy. He's very controlled in a healthy way. Jonathan says, be confident that you deserve success. Wendy says, procrastination. Is that the answer or the thing to avoid? Shane, how are you feeling about this? Does this answer your question if you're even still awake? He's still on post-surgery recovery pain meds. So Sean says, this king knows his role, yet gives importance to people and family. Oh, yes, avoid procrastination, says Wendy. Hi, Tara. Nice to see you. Oh, my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen you in Playdate before. Welcome. We're talking about the King of Wands today and answering questions with that. Any other advice on what healing mentally, spiritually, and physically can we focus on this week with the King of Wands? Any thoughts? Or I will move on to our next alternative deck. So this is going to go a completely different way because that's what we do here. So this random deck is not entirely RWS based, but Jen says, I definitely need a confidence boost from this king today. So the next one I have here is the Spirit Keepers Tarot by, oh, more dropsies. Oh, I'm making up for lost time today, folks. I think that was my little magnet. Yeah, I'm back. I'm here. Okay. So, I haven't had any for so long, and now they're just flying out all over the place. Oh, Shane says, I think there's a lot of potential here. A lot of things exploded, unfortunately, so pulled my attention away. I will have to read. You missed your question? Oh, I'm sorry things exploded. I hope not literally. Okay. I know Elle and I are a little worried now. All right, let me find. Okay, so I hope I have these in the right order. I believe, let me just make sure that this is right. So in the Spirit Keepers, I believe the kings are now archangels. I'm pretty sure that's right. I have a little book at the end. Yes, the king. Okay, good. That's a little right. So this one here, our Archangel of Glory is basically our King of Wands in the Spirit Keepers Tarot here. So here we go. Oh, well, it's really nice to see you, Tara. Thank you for being here. Okay, so here is, and I really like this name. There's so much going on in here. Like we've talked earlier about like, you know, the music and the creativity, and I see a ton of that in this card. And the Angel of, what does this say? Oh, Art and Grace. The Angel of Art and Grace. It won't focus. There it goes. There it goes. But also the Archangel of Glory, right? So what do you think about this card? What does this bring? What did you notice first when you see this card? I'm always kind of curious with this particular deck because it just is so attention grabbing. Anyone? Everybody's silent. As we look at the Spirit Keeper Tarot. Is my chat broken? I'm just checking. The flame. Linda notices that. Tara says, I love the swooping heron flame. Right? I feel like that just kind of blends right into that fiery energy there. Possibly. Jen needs more coffee. Well, me too, but it's not 4:30 a.m. here. Tamatha says, I noticed the torch first and the written words next. Oh, interesting. The books and the trumpet. Gracia noticed. Jonathan, the stack of books and scrolls jump out at me, right? I don't know that we necessarily always think of the King of Wands in relation to like books and learning and things like that. I would think that to be more of a Pentacles thing. So I find that really interesting. Emily says, this is much more ethereal, obviously. The art definitely, and Glory, yes, and Grace is interesting. Speaking to the mastery he has around relationships and managing his own energy. Sean says, not a fan. You're never going to like every card. I mean, it's at least the odds are that you won't. There's a lot going on, very busy in this card. Yes, she packs this deck full of symbolism. That is for sure. Anj noticed the bugle right away. Al says random, but I love the gender ambiguity of this king, right? See, it's good for Pride Day too, right? Is that a 4-leaf clover? So creating your own luck, like right here on the wand, perhaps, right? So I feel like this particular card is kind of about tackling all those creative and passionate pursuits, right? And I'm sure Benabella has a lot to say. I have the little book here. I also have her medium white book and her book of maps, which I won't even remotely try. But let's see what she says about this little one. And she puts these in a really different order. So while you are chatting, King of Wands is the king of creativity for sure. Where are my archangels here in this little book? I can find them. It's like I think she put them kind of somewhere in the middle. The Queen. There we go. Archangel. Orbs. I need to get to Wands. King of Scepters. This is the Spirit Keeper Tarot by Benabel Wynn. This is the second edition that she did, the Vitruvian edition. It is out of print, so sorry about that. So here it says, the King of Scepters is the Archangel of Glory who holds up the torch, beckoning you to pursue greater scholarship or cultivation of the arts. The Archangel of Glory is a divine teacher of the arts in all forms of academia. This is the angel now by your side to facilitate success in artistic, literary, academic, or scholarly endeavors, appearing to you as a spirit guide for career success. So she definitely takes a bit of a different angle, I think, with this particular card. But this will be really interesting to see how it answers our question, I think. Let's see. I want to come back and read some of these comments here. Lots of knowledge stored in the scrolls in the book, said Wendy. Tamitha, I look at the books not as learning in this card, but as creative endeavor. Look at this huge manuscript I popped out. So yeah, maybe he wrote all those books, or they wrote all those books, right? Patrice says, I'm challenged getting king energy from this card. Yeah, it's definitely a different twist on this. And I looked at this last night and I actually thought, does it make sense for me to include this particular deck in Playdate? But I do like that it gets us sort of thinking outside and different interpretations. And it tends to be a little bit more aligned with the pips than it is with the court cards. Okay, Elle, yeah, I get what you mean, Patrice. Part of me is getting page. Maybe it's because of all the books and the learning. Then I'd like my king to always be open to doing the work, as it's never truly done. Very good point, Elle. Even when we reach the end, the learning doesn't stop. Jen says, I like the idea of kings as archangels. Anne says, need to study this lovely deck. Keep meaning to it. Yeah, I've been meaning to tackle the 22-week workbook, and I think I got to week like 1.5, and then I bombed out. Emily says, I missed the deck, but I downloaded the majors and printed them on a playing card site. I'm working on studying them too. It definitely gives a lot. I mean, the amount of effort that she put into this deck is kind of crazy. Yes, it is out of print. I'm sorry. People will post it for sale at very expensive prices. So you have to really want it, I think, to get it. Oh, Jamie did make some Spirit Keeper tarot tiles. That is true. So I think this is actually a perfect card to answer Jen and Mendy's question, which was, how do we raise our energy vibrations this week? How do we raise our energy vibrations this week? So maybe it is about diving into learning, right? Where can you explore and where can you take a deeper dive into something that's going to make you feel more enthusiastic about something or excited about learning something? Oh, we're talking about a new endeavor, says Jackie, right? So tackling something new might help you raise your energy vibrations this week. What else you got? The creativity too. I like exploring creative pursuits. I feel like I don't have enough of those sometimes. And then when I sit down, even if it's just something silly, like to get fancier with my journal, right? My daily tarot journal. I've gotten really lazy and I haven't made it pretty in weeks and weeks and weeks or months. And, I put my stickers and my washi tape because this is how creative I am. I can't draw for cred, right? Sometimes that can really help. But then by the time I'm done, I usually feel like I'm in a really good space. Chris says, muse energy from this card. Raise energy vibes by finding your muse. Find that which inspires you and lights the fire in your belly. Emily says, ooh, interesting with the angel as well. Perhaps connecting to archangel energy. Is it archangel? No, archangel. No, archangel. I'm saying that right. Let's see. I'm pretty sure she said she'll reprint it in the future, said Al. That's funny. I didn't know that if she said that or not. On said, by tapping into our creativity again and perhaps learning something new. You can get the majors for free on her site, or she provides a download of a mini deck you can print yourself. Oh, that's right. She did do that. She really does make a lot of content accessible. Tamitha said, I love all the tiles she creates. Unfortunately, the hubby would notice that charge. Yeah, they are expensive, aren't they? Emily's saying angel cards, meditations, etc. Maybe those are ways that we can raise our energy vibrations. Jilly noticed and thought this kind of speaks to page energy as well. Jen says, focus on your passions. Yes, tiles are beautiful, but very, very expensive. Yes, they are. Elle is on it this week with Playdate. Getting secondhand fire from the king this week, it seems. That's good. Anyway, how do we feel about that? Jen and Mindy, tackle those creative and passionate pursuits, learn the things, maybe dive into studying something. And your vibes, they'll come up, right? All right, let's get the next deck. So now I said we're going a completely different way, and we're gonna take a hard right turn again. This time to a deck that I know some people love and I know some people don't love, but we're gonna just hang in there, right, folks? With the Goliath. This is still the first edition of his deck. I haven't yet got the second edition, but I would really like to, because as I hear it, the cards are much smaller and more manageable, less glossy, and the book, although it still looks like there's still a lot of tiny writing in that book, but he did make the book bigger. All right, let's see here. The 10-page Knight, Queen, and King. All right. I think this card is beautiful, but I know some people have an issue with sort of humanized animals, if you will. But here is the King of Wands from the Goliath deck. Look at that majestic creature. Jen got her message loud and clear. Jonathan said, learn a new skill, a new art form. Learn to play the trumpet. That's very specific, isn't it? Mindy says, that's a direct message to me. I hear you and I'm listening. So what do you think of this one? What does this inspire? Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It looks Christmassy, like ornaments hanging from its antlers. Yes. Now, what's interesting about this one is looking straight at us. So does that, I don't know, I feel like he's looking right through me, which is what I felt about a lot of this deck when I actually have worked with it in the past. I worked with it during like shadow worky times, and sometimes I feel like these creatures are just like boring into my soul. The king is a dream catcher, says Linda. Let's see, jalapeno peppers hanging from antlers. Is that what they are? I think they're feathers. Maybe they're jalapeno peppers. Yeah. I mean, or what are those things like Catskills or I don't remember what it's called. Some cat. Love the web geometry, says Chris. Is that feathers? I saw it as feathers. I think this one here, right here, gives me the shape of feather. This one gives me a pepper shape, though. So does that one. So I can kind of see where Neem's coming from on that. They look like chilies hanging from his antlers. It's very hypnotic, says Tara. Right? I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like he's just like gazing right into my soul. I know I said that already, but I can't think of a better way to describe it, or a different way. Mindy says, this deck doesn't do it for me. Animals with jewelry is not my thing. And I know there are people that feel exactly that same way. It's just like that right there puts them off. Taking leadership from your passion, dreams, and deepest desires, says Al. Let's see. I thought they were a female sanitary product. How did your mind go there first thing? Like, what's going on there? Natasha, that's funny. It is interesting that it has feathers, like he is calling you to take action and flight up to the stars and be creative, right? I still, and with the dream catcher, right? It's like pursuing those dreams, pursuing those passions, realizing those dreams, believing that they can happen. Like all of that still seems to come through for me really loudly with this particular card and the King of Wands. Gracia says, I see the loyal, dependable, and protective part of the King of Wands. Oh, yes. I like that. Tamitha says, the web in the middle is like a warning not to get caught up before you achieve what you want. Yes. Julie says love. Love the card? Yeah? Mindy says forever this will be the tampon dare deck for me. No. That's a ridiculous association. You know? I get it. I get it. Emily, it's quite confronting the way he is staring right at us. Perhaps it is pushing us to dream and to dare to take it. Oops. And to dare to take a risk. Exactly. Julie, harness your dreams. Yes. Wendy says the web between his antlers gives the appearance of the chakra symbol to me. Ooh. Yeah. So let's take a close look at that too. Focus. Look at those beautiful eyes. I feel like there's so much dimension in these black and white drawings. Patrice says he looks masterful. Even with the creative decorations on his antlers, he has a take no shit look on his face. Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Jonathan says facing blocks, question mark, be inventive and creative. Your ants will be found outside the box, not inside, right? Dream bigger. Tara says, I feel from the void, you dance within dreams, which you can manifest into reality. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Julie says, but dream catchers catch bad dreams and allow good dreams to come through. Yes, that's right. Elle, the dream catcher's pattern kind of reminds me of the seed of life. Oh, so we're getting some like chakra, seed of life. Interesting. Yeah, we can all thank Mindy for putting that picture in our head. So we had a question from Emily for this one. What limiting beliefs? Ooh, I like this for this card. What limiting beliefs do we need to release this week? Yeah. Let's catch the bad dreams. Catch those limiting beliefs. Trap them so that we can move on from them. But I don't know if you want something specific, right? And so maybe the limiting belief is that you can't pursue your dreams, right? Or that something is holding you back from that, when in reality, you do have the power to pursue those dreams, to pursue what it is that you want. And you can let yourself dream outside of that, right? Jonathan said, my last quote answered that. Okay, I'm sure I can find it here. Oh yeah, be inventive and creative. Your answer will be found outside the box, right? Exactly. Anj says the feathers and the weaving around his antlers resembles the dream catcher. Therefore, it is a sign of protection. Oh, bye, Wendy. Nice to see you as always. Neem says, I don't see creative other than decorative antlers. Feathered jalapeno shaped tampons. I guess that's creative. Oh, you know, we're not in Becca's chat right now. I'm just saying. Julie says, yes, it definitely has a sacred geometry look to the center. That you're not good enough. You are. Yes. This king right here, he's looking right at you saying, you can do this. Like, you have this power within you. You have this confidence within you. And, you know, we talked earlier about the deservedness, right? You are deserving of the life that you want, right? And the things that you want. So maybe it's that too, recognizing the deservedness and letting go of any beliefs that hold us back from feeling like we do. Emily says, yes, the lies that you are not enough, not worthy, etc. of your dreams to manifest. Yes, exactly. I don't know if you said that before or after I did, but yes, we're in sync there, Emily. Don't apologize. You made me like this deck now. Well, we have an interesting way of talking you into that, don't we, Mindy? The question was, what limiting beliefs do we need to release this week, Jen? Have confidence to trust yourself, says Jonathan. Anj, by looking at the meaning of the stagger elk, it says to pace yourself and it will increase your stamina. The elk medicine helps people arrive to their goals without getting burnt out. Ooh, I like that too, with the stamina piece of it. Yeah, I would not even dare to try to read from the book with the tiny writing in Play Date, because I think I would need a magnifying glass plus my reading glasses for that. Chris says, antlers say experience to me. Limiting belief is that you have lived your dream and your only purpose now is to help others live theirs. Follow your dreams every day and never lose your inspiration. Weave your own web and connections, says Jen. Ooh, I like that too, right? So you can kind of look at that as a web instead of a dream catcher. That's very cool. All right, all good stuff as usual. So I have one more alternative deck for us to look at before we start talking about reversals. And this is another one that some people love, some people don't, but this was gifted to me by Barbara Moore, so I'm going to continue to love it. And that is the Wizard's Tarot. So let's see what we've got in here. Hopefully a non Hopefully a card you guys can get on board with today. All right, let's see what we've got here. I'm losing my voice today. Goodness. All right. We've got a king here. We're getting back to something that's a little bit more indicative of our standard RWS. Here is our King of Swords from the Barbara Moore Wizards Tarot, not an out-of-print deck. There we go. I love this pillar with all the flowers over here. All right. So he's kind of like, he's got a cavalier hold on his wand there, doesn't he? What do you think? He looks like Jon Snow, says Emily. Al, it's your favorite deck, Al. Jon Snow, very pompous, very sexy, red cape, passion. This probably is the most arrogant looking King of Wands that I think I've seen today, in my opinion. Naomi says he looks unsure. Oh, no, that's funny. That's almost like a different take than I had on it. I almost feel like he's too cocky to care, you know? He does kind of have this little sideways look, like, what are you looking at? What are you waiting for me to do? He looks like he just stepped off a horse, said Julie. His look with his eyes look like he is up to something, said Anj. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got Pampas. He looks like he knows he's the shit. Yes, he does. He's like, I know I'm sexy looking like Jon Snow. Yes, I do. He looks devious, says Anj. Very interesting. Looks like a knight borrowing the throne. Like he's just like, hold on, let me see what this is like. And also it's like, you know, it's like usually we see when the kings are holding the wands, right? The wand is upright, and this is just kind of like off, like off hanging to the side. Like the wand is almost an afterthought in this, which is kind of interesting. It looks like a paparazzi stole a pic. Yes, it does. He's like, wait, oh, I didn't see you over there hiding behind my pillars. He looks burdened, says Essence. The roses were the first thing I noticed, says Jen. Yeah, that was really kind of the first thing that grabbed my eye as well. He is the devil in disguise, says Naomi. Uh-oh, that's dangerous. Of course, we know that there were big kings like that, right? Oh, come on, Elle. Bye, Sean. Thank you for being here. Cavalier? Did you mean Calvary? I did not. I meant cavalier. Meaning, like he doesn't have a care in the world, very casual approach to the whole thing. Like he doesn't have that. Well, actually he does. I feel like he still has a bit of that. He's sitting upright. It almost for a minute looked like he was leaning back, but I do still feel like he's also poised. Oh, and what does he have in his other hand here? He has got something. He's got two wands. I don't know what the other kind of wand is. Like a fire poker? I don't know what that is. Looks like he's about to get off his throne. Looks like one of the three musketeers. Is it a whip? I was wondering. Maybe that's why you said he looked like he just came in off of riding a horse. Blame the painkillers. Yeah, he does have that excuse, actually. Julie says he looks more like he'd rather be somewhere else. So maybe some of that comes with that whole, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Sometimes it can feel like a burden. He'd rather be hanging out with our Victorian romantic king, maybe listening to music and partying and having a good time. Perhaps he's a little bored here on his throne. He looks like he's ready to jump up. I can't get past how much I hate him. The roses in the background, there are roses. That's all I can do. All right, well, Elle, you are entitled to your opinion, my darling. He looks like he wakes up daily and says, I didn't ask for this, says Essence. Is he wearing 3 belts? Too much Ben & Jerry's last night? Oh, no. This is the Wizard's Tarot by Barbara Moore. And let's see, illustrated by Mikey Jensen's. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. So this is a deck that I was really, really looking forward to, but I know a lot of people have not loved it as much as they anticipated, but I was gifted it by Barbara Moore. So it also has a special little place in my heart for that reason, for sure. Emily says he definitely seems too young. Oh, wait, the floor, it's like a chessboard. You know what that reminds me of? There was, when we had the King of Swords, we pulled the King of Swords from the Haunted House Tarot, and he was playing a game of chess, right? So, you know, I think about the kings having to be strategic, especially the King of Swords, right? So maybe that's some of what's happening here. See, Elle, you can focus on something. Good job. He definitely seems too young, says Emily. Oh, interesting. See, he looks, oh, yeah, I saw that one. All right, so shall we tackle our question? Yes, strategic, says Emily. All right, so we had our fifth question was from Aquarius L. What do we need to just let go? What is it that we need to just let go? Jackie's noticing his big boots. I'm imagining that's not the answer to the question because I know there's a chat delay. What do we just need to let go? And maybe it's that we need to get up and get off the throne and actually do something. Maybe we're all feeling a little bit of pent up energy right now and we need to direct that energy somewhere. So letting go of some of that stagnation and whatever it is that might be holding us back. Aquarius L says he needs to let go of being a big pompous ass, maybe. Okay, so if you're carrying around a lot of arrogance lately, hi TK. Oh goodness. Okay, bye Tara. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, hi. Yes. Just let go of this deck, says L. Essence says, my initial response to this card is you cannot satisfy someone who is so dissatisfied by, yes, he came in just to say hi to you, Tara, because he knows you love the kitties. My initial response, let's see, you cannot satisfy someone who is so dissatisfied by so many things that they never say what actually satisfies them or does something to change it. Jonathan says, visualize your goal and how you will obtain it. Be determined and work for it. You will see results. Yes, I like that. He has a very loud meow sometimes when he wants to. He's been quiet all day, but the minute I start talking to you all, I am sensing issues with authority, says Julie. Interesting. Hi. Do you want to come up here and say hi to everyone? Hold on, we got to get. So TK had to have a line cut. So he's like shaved. he's so naked. But he's getting old and he has kidney disease and he stopped cleaning himself and I couldn't keep up with it. So they made him naked, but I figure it's probably good in the summertime anyway. All right, Elle said, stop playing the games. To get up and take yourself away from going around in circles, repeating the same negative patterns. That is very good advice. So remember, too, we talked about that earlier, right, with the original. Where is he? Right, with the salamanders chasing their tails, right? RTL's hate response, is that a retweet? That's what that is. He looks like a Maine Coon cat. A lot of people say that, and when he has all his fur, he looks really beautiful, even though he's lost so much weight. He's so tiny. All right, so before y'all rebel against this card, I'll go ahead and set this one down. So let's talk about when our King of Wands is reversed or in some kind of blocked position or a challenged position where we can't tap into the energy. Julie was noticing on this last card, the throne seems way bigger than he is, not ready or accepting his role. Oh yeah, I like that too, right? Kind of like when I was little and I used to try and walk around in my mom's high-heeled shoes, right? I wasn't quite ready for those shoes. Chris, the whip could be control. Stop trying to bring order to the chaos of life and embrace it. That'll turn his frown upside down. Maybe. I don't know. He looks like a hard sell. Kathy, accept that maybe working with others will help you learn more about yourself. Bye, Mindy. Nice to see you. And I know not everybody reads reversals, but I always kind of like to talk about these as it relates to, like I said, could be in a blocked or challenging position. Emily says reversed arrogance, manipulation, cruelty, dominance, power mad, right? Bringing in all of that sort of heightened and amplified traits that can make a good king turn into a pain in the butt king, right? Anger, says Naomi. Ooh, right? Or passion out of control. And not being in control of the passions and pursuits, right? Any other thoughts? I have I like to sometimes check my little app to see too, because I don't read reversals that often. So oftentimes I need help on those ones. Jonathan says reversed, a zealot, an extremist for his own cause of beliefs. He can use his power of persuasion for negative means. This leads to abuse of power. He can be intolerant and argumentative. Yeah, some of the key words that pop up here too are inauthentic, egotistical, selfish, temperamental, rage, and lust, right? So sort of that out of control version of all of the things that make him a good and confident and powerful king. Anj says, in several cards, the Emperor card has that same floor with the black and white, perhaps arrogance. Oh, like in this one here? Jonathan, we've read the reversed. Emily says, yes, selfish as well. And I feel like his passion and sexuality could turn into exploitation. Yes, abuse of power. Chris, reversed, passionate about control freak. He needs to adopt a beginner's mind and let go to bring himself back into balance, right? So grab those books, right? Keep learning. Don't let go of that knowledge seeking, right? Anj says selfishness and putting power for his well-being. A manipulator, says Gracia, right? So this, to me, this king reverse really could be our narcissist, right? You know, he's the one that's really charming and charismatic, but not really using that charm and charisma in the right way. Yes, don't stop reading, says Emily. Jonathan, other qualities would be having totally lack of confidence in yourself and feeling inadequate, right? So not being able to tap into the fiery confidence that we sometimes need to have. All good thoughts. You can keep them coming. So before I let you go, I will read to you this week's alternative activity. If you are still at all playing with the tarot playbook, there's an activity in here, I'm sure, associated with our King of Wands, which is on page 80, called The Devil Danced Decadently. Ooh, look at that beautiful tiger. Gorgeous. So here it looks like you're going to play a game of adverbs. Adverbs are the color commentary of any sentence, as this game vigorously demonstrates. So maybe you're going to get creative with your cards. So maybe that kind of taps into the King of Wands. But we got 200 members in Tarot Playdate Facebook group. Yay! Thanks all for joining. It's always fun to see what you guys are doing in there. We love to see people share their cards for the week, their versions of that card, if it comes up in daily draws, or how you see that energy play out for you during the week, or the results of any activity you choose to participate in. So this week's activity that we came up with for the King of Wands, oh boy, this is another long one. So because it's a long one, I do this anyway. What am I saying? But I will, as always, post this once the video finishes uploading, which seems to be taking like 24 hours lately to get the chat up there. But I think I can get the description box populated before then. I will put a link to the activity, of course, a link to the Facebook group if you'd like to join, all of that good stuff. This one is called Born to Lead. So this king was born to lead. Now is the time to reflect on the area or areas of your life where you were also born to lead others. Grab your deck and have a seat on your throne or other comfortable location, no matter where it is. Think of it as your throne. Keep your toilet jokes to yourselves, please, kids. Oh, I was in a mood when I wrote this. Proceed with one of the following spreads, depending on how you feel about your leadership skills. So there's two spreads. One, I know my area of leadership strength, or the other option is going to be, I don't know my area of leadership strength. So if you know where you're kind of strong with your leadership qualities, choose a card to represent your strength and put it out as your significator. Now shuffle the rest of the deck and draw 3 cards. The first card will be, what makes me a good leader in this area? The second one, what can I still work on to be an even better leader in this area? And 3, how can I best share my leadership skills with others? If you don't know your leadership strength, you're going to draw 4 cards. And the first one will be, rather than you selecting it on purpose, will be an intuitive draw. What is my greatest leadership strength? And then you'll have the same 3 cards that you did in the other exercise. So this could be a really fun way to kind of tap into the leadership and confidence that you might be missing, or just want to remind yourself of, or just confirm for yourself. So thanks again, everyone, for being here, for participating. I know I was in a funny mood, so thanks for hanging in there with me. If you did, I much appreciate it. And then let me see if I missed any of the Oh, Emily was saying in the reversed, our king could be a psychopath as well as a narcissist. I think that's right, actually. Let's see if I missed anything else. I don't think I did. So, oh, narcissist works as it seems he could have a complete lack of empathy reversed. Yes. All right, you guys, you have been great as always dealing with a court card, although it didn't seem to give you any trouble. So all this talk about court cards are hard, I don't think pertains to this group. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you all next week now that my vet appointment got rescheduled for today. And you all have a wonderful week. And until I see you the next one, I'm as always sending you lots and lots of love.